So we move to the fourth inning. Big Spring and Sweetwater tied at 2. Steers will send up the middle of the lineup. 4, 5, 6, Max Papajohn, Joseph Morleone, and Mr. Jared DePorto. Little break in the action as the home plate umpire went over to the Sweetwater dugout to get some new baseballs, and they were rubbing them in the dirt to try to get some of the shininess off the ball. 4 innings in the books in Brownwood. Snyder still leading Brownwood 1-0. Again, if you are a Big Spring Steer fan, you are rooting for Snyder to beat Brownwood, and you're rooting for the Steers to win this game. Here's Papajohn, struck out in the first inning in his first at-bat. Pitch is right down 4th Street for a strike. It's 0-1. Of course, what's strange is the end of the regular season for most everybody is tonight, even though the playoffs won't start for a couple of weeks. Pitch is swung on, popped up in the air on the third base side. Third baseman's going to have a play at it, and he makes the catch. Cole Maxwell does, right in front of the Sweetwater dugout, and Papajohn is now 0 for 2. He fouls out to the third baseman. That'll bring up Morleone. Morleone walked and scored the Steers' first run of the game in the second inning. Again, if we do have some pauses in the action tonight, that is because I'm busy texting back and forth with Brownwood as well as some of our other local coaches with some of the local baseball to keep you up to date on the games. First pitch is low and at the feet. It's 1-0. If we're supposed to, I guess we're supposed to make that ESPN noise. Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. Anyways, Cliff's pitch, and I think that did hit Morleone. Yep, they're going to say it did. Hit him on the right shoulder. So Morleone reaches on a hit by a pitch. Steers will take the runners no matter how they can get it. And now that will bring up Jared DePorto, who struck out his first time up. He was at the plate when Cliff threw a wild pitch, which allowed Morleone to move into scoring position, which did come back to haunt the Mustangs. Here's the pitch to the left-handed batter, swung on and fouled away, out of play. We can't really see the parking lot, but if you're parked out there, you may want to be careful. There is some netting behind that area. Again, just a beautiful ballpark. Sportsman's Park, again, it's modeled after the old St. Louis Browns/Cardinals park. Browns, of course, later on became the Baltimore Orioles in 1954. 1-0 pitch is outside. May have been a unintentional pitch out. 1-1. Sportsman's Park in St. Louis was the home for the Cardinals until they moved into the original Busch Stadium in 1954. Of course, the Cardinals are in Busch Stadium #2. Pitch is a breaking ball. Again, it's outside. 2-1. I cannot remember when Busch Stadium #2 opened. That was only just, 3-4 years ago, something like that. Here's the 2-1 pitch. It's low and inside, 3-1. Garrett Studeville waiting on deck for the Steers. He'd love to have 2 on base. Sweetwater is going to play in double play depth. First baseman guarding the runner Morleone at first pretty tightly. Infielders are set up for double play. 3-1 pitch being taken. It'll be called a strike, and that'll make it a full count. Because there's only 1 out, Morleone will not be in motion. The entire field is now in shadow. Lights have not taken their effect yet. Again, we're at 8:05 Central Daylight Time. Runner taking, pitch gets away from the catcher, ball 4, and Morleone didn't realize it. If he would have realized it, might have had a chance to get the third, so it will not be a wild pitch as Morleone goes to second anyways on the walk to DePorto. Second walk issued by Clift, and here comes Garrett Studeville. Studeville with an RBI ground out his first time up. When Morleone was able to hop and skip around the bases, Studeville, left-handed batter. Still only 1 out top of the 4th inning, 2-2 here in Sweetwater. First pitch swung on and hit up in the air. It will clear the Sweetwater dugout area, go into their batting cages to the northwest of the dugout. So that'll make it 0-1. Snyder again still leading Sweetwater 1-0 in the 4. Snyder wins that game. The Steers cannot be eliminated tonight. Pitch is low and at the knees, 1-1. Again, because of tax testing, there's not much high school action going on next week. 4-sand baseball will end their regular season on Monday, but then there's no more high school action scheduled in the regular season until the playoffs start. 1-1 pitch. is low in the strike zone, but they'll call it a strike, makes it 1 ball and 2 strikes. Karsten Knudsen waiting on deck.
Good job staying around the plate.
Hopefully his grandparents in Spokane, Washington are listening to us just after 6 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time. Here's the pitch. Taking and just inside of the left-handed batter. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Like a good pitch.
Steers have 2 runs. By the way, the Steers have 2 runs on the board on 3 hits, 1 error. Snyder has 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors. Chopper to second. Could be a double play. Second baseman tags the runner going to second for 1. Throw to first in time. Double play for the second time in this game. The Steers ground into a double play. It's going to go 4-3 as the second baseman may tap the runner, Deporto going to second, and threw Studeville out at first, and the inning is over. So we've played 3.5. It is still Big Spring 2, Sweetwater 2. Back for more Steer baseball in the X in just a moment. So we move to the bottom of the 4th inning. Game still tied at 2 here as Franco comes up to the mound. Leadoff batter will be Brandon Howell, followed by Cole Maxwell and Stephen May, the 6, 7, and 8 batters. Howell grounded out to third his first time up in the 1st inning. Franco was settled down after having a tough start with the first 4 batters. First pitch is low and away, ball 1. Snyder still leading Brownwood 1-0. That game in the bottom of the 5th inning. Again, if Snyder wins, they clinch the number 2 seed, and Brownwood would drop out of any sort of tiebreaker implications. In fact, Brownwood would clinch last place. Check swing by Howell. Did he hold up? They will say no, he did not. 1 ball and 1 strike to the right-handed batter. Brownwood would finish 2-6. Sweetwater has already swept them. If the Steers win, Sweetwater would finish 2-6. So Sweetwater by tiebreakers would finish 4th, and Brownwood would go from 1st to worst. 1-1 pitch, framed up nicely by the catcher Yanez, and the umpire says, "Hey, I'll give you the strike." 1-2. Steers were picked to finish last in 5-3A by 3ABaseball.com. Wiley was picked to win it, Snyder 2nd, Brownwood 3rd. That Brownwood prediction will be messed up. 1-2 pitch is called strike 3. As the famous announcer would say, Brandon Howell was caught window shopping. Second strikeout for Franco, and 1 out. Here's Cole Maxwell, grounded out to second to end the 1st. And if you take out that error by not Stephen May, if you take out that error by Gunnar Kennedy in the 2nd inning, when Stephen May reached second base, then Franco has retired every batter since that 1st inning. In fact, he's set down as the first pitch misses up high, ball 1. He's retired. Franco's retired the last 7 batters, and if you include in that error, he's retired 10 out of 11. Here's the pitch. Swung, ground ball to second. Rodriguez fields it nicely, throws over to first, and that's the 2nd out of the inning. Rodriguez took his time, let the ball come to him instead of trying to charge it, and threw Cole Maxwell out. That'll bring up Stephen May. May reached on an error in the 2nd inning when Gunnar Kennedy dropped the fly ball in center field, and May was left standing at 3rd. Franco looking just like he did last week against Wiley outside of that 4th inning when he gave up that 2-run homer, and that was the only hit. He gave up hits or walks to the first 4 batters, single walk, single walk. Since then, he's not allowed a base runner to reach on his own. The only runner that reached was by May. Time has been called. Franco is currently playing a little pitch and catch right now with the 3rd baseman as the Sweetwater first base coach talking to the first base coach for Sweetwater. Not sure what the delay is here. Looks like a little bit of pitching. Well, actually, we know what the delay was. Yanez went back to the dugout to pick up a new piece of equipment. My apologies for not having that. Had to get a new mask and maybe a new glove. So here's Stephen May again, reached on an error his first time up, the 2nd baseman. First pitch by Franco is outside, ball 1. And you have that feeling that Franco may be done, maybe in his zone that he was in against Wiley, where Sweetwater's going to struggle to get a run. The question is, can the Steers get some runs on their own and send the Mustangs home? Ground ball over to short. Shortstop up with it. Borman throws over to first in time, and once again the Steers send Sweetwater down in order. 1, 2, and 3. At the end of 4 innings, it is still Big Spring 2, Sweetwater 2, back in 60 seconds here on the XKXCX. Let's go 60 seconds, please. So we move to the 5th inning. Game is tied at 2 here. Big Spring coming to bat. Snyder still leading Brownwood 1-0 end of the 5th inning there. Again, if you're a Steer fan, you are rooting for the Mustangs. Not for the Mustangs, you're rooting for the Tigers. If the Mustangs were to win this game and Snyder wins, then Big Spring would still get one last chance to get in. First batter is Karsten Knudsen. Swung on and fouled away behind Sportsman's Park, 0-1. Knudsen struck out to end the 2nd inning. Matthew Yanez, the number 9 batter, and Brett Borman, the number 1 batter, will come up to follow Karsten. Again, hello to Grandma and Grandpa Knudsen in Spokane, Washington. 0-1 pitch is taken for a ball, a little bit low and away to the right-handed batter, 1-1.
Just not very consistent.
Knudsen gets the swing assignment, swung on, grounded over to short, charging over to shortstop Bennett, throws over to first in time. So 1 up and 1 down. That'll bring up Matthew Yanez, again making his first varsity start, coming up from JV to replace the injured Zach Hernandez. He flew out to center his first time up, his first at bat on varsity. Yanez again wearing number 13, my favorite number. As sign and Cliff pitches and fires. Pitch is a strike, 0-1. Yanez ducked, but the pitch was a strike. Sun is dipped behind the clouds. Again, we're looking towards the east, and lights are taking their effect. It's going to be a chilly one tonight. 0-1 pitch from Cliff, taken for another strike, 0-2. As the Steers' 15 losses this season is actually the most losses of any team in this district, 13 and 15 overall. Pitch swung on, high chopper to the shortstop. Bennett's going to have to race over, has it, throws it over to first, and just in time to record the out. Yanez, the speedster, almost beat it out, but it's the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Brett Borman, top of the lineup, fouled out to first, and doubled and scored the 2nd run of the game for the Steers in the 3rd. It's kind of funny because the Steers are 13 and 15. They've played more games than Sweetwater. Sweetwater is just 9 and 12. Of course, the Steers have played some very tough competition. First pitch from the right-handed pitcher to the right-handed batter Borman is a ball, 1-0. Got a little bit of a Moth or a Miller
20 yards back from where he was
floating around.
there in the 3rd inning.
The outfield is playing a little bit deeper, or the left fielder, I should say. Campbell's playing deeper. The center fielder and right fielder are playing straight away and at normal depth. Next pitch is going to be taken for a strike, 1-1.
Norman's still playing.
And you figure this could come down to a pitcher's duel now, as may not see too many more runs scored in this game, as Franco and Clift have settled down for their teams. 1-1 pitch, taken all the way, low and inside for a ball, 2-1.
Waiting on deck is Hagen Rodriguez.
And Snyder leading Brownwood 1-0 going to the 6th. Snyder wins. That is great news for Big Spring. 2-1 pitch on the way. Swung on and popped up in the air into right field. Right fielder is going to chase it over in the foul territory. Now the first baseman has it. First baseman will actually make the play. That is Greg Aiken. And the inning is over. 3 up, 3 down for the Steers at the end of 4.5. It is still Big Spring 2, Sweetwater 2. Back with more Steer baseball in just a moment here on the X. So we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. Pitcher's duel taking shape. It's 2-2. Sweetwater got 2 unearned runs in the first. Steers got an unearned run on the 2nd and an earned run in the 3rd. So it's 2-2 here. Again, still waiting for Snyder and Brownwood to finish up. 1-0 Snyder, top 6. 9-1-2 batters for Sweetwater here in the 5th. Sean Campbell will lead it off. He had a sacrifice to ground out his first time up, so he is 0 for 0 officially. First pitch from Franco, high and at the brim of the helmet. Ball 1 to the right-handed batter. Willie Norman and Ryan Linebaugh at the top of the order will follow as we pass the 1 hour mark here. Pretty quick game going since we actually got started. We started about 15 minutes late. 1-0 pitch taken for a strike. 1-1. Maybe able to hear that strike call on our crowd mic. Try to turn that up a little bit so you can hear the ambient sounds. Not a huge crowd here tonight. Fair amount of Big Spring fans are here, although, of course, many of the students are taking care of Relay for Life back home. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss by Campbell. And that'll make it 1-2. Relay for Life, of course, going on at Blankenship Field back at Big Spring High. Our own Kevin Schooler participating in the Survivor Lap, Cancer Survivor. 1-2 pitch, low at the knees. 2-2. Of course, our own Kevin Schooler, a great guy. And cancer is one of those diseases that there are no friends and it's everybody's enemy. And I guarantee you, everybody out there has been affected by cancer somehow, either personally or by if you yourself been affected by cancer, maybe a loved one, maybe a friend, a neighbor. 2-2 pitch is high, it'd be a full count. As the sun is dipped below the horizon, it's supposed to get down to the 40s tonight, and I'll tell you this much, once it gets to 138 degrees for 77 straight days, a night like tonight will feel beautiful, just like vanilla ice cream and a little bit of chocolate syrup. Here's the payoff pitch. Strike 3 called. The Mustangs thought it was ball 4, and the umpire is going to punch him out. And you can hear the Sweetwater fans not agreeing with that. Third strikeout of the game by Franco. Roland Herrera, the manager, is coming out to talk to the home plate umpire. Of course, we can tell our crowd mic is working because you can hear the exclamations out there. Herrera in his 3rd year with the Mustangs actually once upon a time coached these very Big Spring Steers. Snyder has picked up another run in the top of the 6th inning. Bottom of the 6th inning now in Brownwood. Snyder leads it 2-0. That's more good news for Big Spring. So Campbell is punched out. We'll go back to the top of the order. Willie Norman led off the 1st inning with a single, scored a run, and flew out to right in the 2nd inning. Again, Sweetwater has not had a base runner outside of an error since that 1st inning. First pitch is outside, 1-0. So Snyder helping the Steers out. They lead it 2-0 in the bottom of the 6th inning. So 6 outs to go for Snyder to get the win. If they win, they will lock up the 2 seed, which you'd rather be the 3 seed than the 2, and that would guarantee the Steers' season could not come to an end tonight. 1-0 pitch, swung on, and let's chopper into right field for a base hit. So Norman now 2 out of 3 tonight. That's the first base runner besides an error since the first 4 batters reached the game. That'll bring up Linebaugh. Linebaugh walked and scored a run in the 1st and struck out to end the 2nd inning. Sweetwater fans still not happy with that punch out of Campbell on the strike 3.
The right fielder coming back for the Mustangs, number 14, is Ryan Linebaugh.
Before that hit, Franco had retired 13 of the previous 14 Mustang batters after the first 4 reached. Pitch bounces up there for ball 1-0, and it really seems like this could be one of those 3-2 or 4-3 games.
Stepping back on the rubber.
Franco goes back to get the sign from his catcher Yanez. 1 out, infield double play depth. Righty against the righty. Here's the pitch. In there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Steers have grounded in double plays in each of their last 2 innings in the 4th and 5th inning. Steers have not turned a double play, although Mustangs didn't have a runner in the 3rd or 4th innings.
Franco comes set.
Franco looking, gets the pitch. Bunt is shown, pulled back as it's high. Makes it 2-1. Greg Aiken waiting on deck. That is, by the way, the 3rd hit of the game by the Mustangs. Who's going to blink first in this one? Again, the Steers have margin for error if Snyder can hold on against Brownwood, as the Steers would only have to beat beat Sweetwater once, and they'd have 2 opportunities to do it. If that happens, throw over to first, not in time. But if Brownwood were to come back and beat Snyder, then the Steers would have to win. Otherwise, the season would be over.
Standing back in.
Looks like that game will end before this one, so we will have a chance to break down the playoff scenarios even further. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Franco comes set.
Norman still standing at first. Here's the pitch. It's in the dirt. Swing and a miss. It'll make it 2-2. And the Steers have to be thinking about those mistakes in the 1st inning when Franco balked home a run and a wild pitch brought home another run. You take those 2 out, the Steers are ahead. As it is, the Steers are only tied. 2 balls, 2 strikes to line ball.
Bottom of the 5th.
Here's the pitch. Swung on. Chopper. Slow roll to Moleon at third. Has only 1 play over to first. Makes that play. And line ball is retired. It's good enough as a sacrifice, though it will be an official at bat. Second out of the inning, Willie Norman will go down to second. Moleon, good play there. He made sure he had the ball. Really didn't have much of a chance to get Norman at second, and instead took the out at first. And that'll bring up Greg Aiken, the first baseman, who singled in the first, flew out to center in the third inning. The Mustangs have a runner in scoring position. Would be a big run for the Mustangs if they bring it home, as we are quickly getting into the late innings. Right-handed pitcher Franco against left-handed batter Aiken. Here's the first pitch. In there for a strike. It's 0-1. Mustangs, by the way, have already left runners on third twice in the game. They've left runners 3 times in scoring position overall. So the Steers have been living a little bit dangerously, like the old song would go, living on the edge. But they're still tied. No balls, 1 strike. The pitch swung on, at least into right field. It's going to be trouble for the right fielder. Line ball drops for a hit. No, it does not. Line ball makes the catch. Not line ball. Porto makes the catch. We're not going to give the Mustang outfielder the credit. We'll give it to Porto the credit. And the inning is over. So a leadoff single leads to nothing. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. At the end of 5, it is still tied at 2. Back with more Steer baseball in just a moment. You're on the X. So we go to the 6th inning. Steers still tied with Sweetwater at 2. Hagen Rodriguez, the second baseman, will lead it off. Gunnar Kennedy and Max Papajohn will follow. Those are the 2, 3, and 4 batters. By the way, 6 innings in the books in Brownwood. Snyder still leading it 2-0. Snyder 3 outs away from locking up the number 2 seed. And more importantly, that would guarantee the Steer season could not end tonight. First pitch to Rodriguez. Ground ball swung on, hit to the shortstop. Backhander throws it over to first. Airmails it, not in time. Rodriguez will beat it out. We'll give him an infield single. It was a tough play by the shortstop, Bennett. And that will bring up Kennedy. That's the second hit of the game by Rodriguez. He had an RBI single his last time up. So here comes Gunnar Kennedy. Kennedy singled and grounded into a double play. So again, if Snyder holds on to beat Brownwood, which is 3 outs away from happening, Snyder locks up the 2 seed, and the Big Spring Steers could not be eliminated tonight. They'd be guaranteed at least 1 more game. Of course, if the Steers win, they're in the playoffs and Sweetwater is out. Pitch swung on, shot foul, as Rodriguez took off for second. Would have been in there in plenty of time, but the foul ball will force Rodriguez to go back to first. Gunnar Kennedy told me before the game that he badly wants to be interviewed after the game, and of course told Gunnar that, hey, you win the game, we'll put you on. Of course, we'll have post-game, if time permits, get Bert Otto, try to get some players. Again, if the Steers are able to win this game. No balls, 1 strike. The pitch is low. It's 1-1. As again, we're playing the top of the 6th inning. Sweetwater got 2 unearned runs in the first on some mistakes by Adam Franco, but he has settled down the last 4 innings. Big Spring getting a run in the second and a run in the third. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. The pitch is low in the dirt. Catcher drops it. Well, they'll call it a strike. Makes it 1-2. Catcher actually dropped it, but Rodriguez was not going. These 2 pitchers matching themselves tit for tat. Clift with 2 walks, a wild pitch hit batsman and 3 strikeouts. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss, and it gets away from the catcher, and Kennedy's going to be safe at first. And you know what? That pitch was so bad, I think Kennedy may have intentionally swung at it because that gets him on base. So it'll be a strikeout. It will be considered a strike. Well, Kennedy's going to be retired. They said it was a strikeout. Well, they're going to say a strikeout, and Kennedy does not get to stay on. Rodriguez, though, advances to second. It'll be a wild pitch by a little strange play there as Max Papajohn is up, swung on, and chopped it off a home plate foul. It's 0-1. So to explain that play, Kennedy swung on and missed, and now the 2 umpires are going to get together. Kennedy took off for first. It was a drop third strike. He was safe, but the umpire said he was out, which usually on a drop third strike, the catcher still has to throw the runner out at first. Rodriguez advanced to second. Now, if Kennedy is out, then that would have meant Rodriguez should have gone to first. Well, they're going to say Papa John gets to go to first. I don't know why it was.
What the call was, if it was, the only thing I can think of, maybe it was catcher's interference. That's what the...
Well, the umpire is going to say catcher's interference. Well, this has been a weird inning. So runners on first and second, 1 out. Papa John safe on catcher's interference. That'll bring up Morleone, who scored a run in the second, was hit by a pitch in the fourth. 1 out, runners on first and second. Bert Otto comes out. He's going to get Papa John out for a pinch runner. And we're going to try to look up who that is. 20.
Number 21 now, first base for the Steers.
Well, they're going to say Morleone is...
that's Porto Cordero.
Well, that's not right. Morleone was announced at first. Morleone is batting. Porto Cordero, I believe, is the runner. Pitch swung on and chopped foul over to the Big Spring dugout. It's 0-1. So Porto Cordero, Brandon Porto Cordero, number 11, is the pinch runner.
He is at first as a courtesy runner.
So he is a pinch runner, as Papa John doing the designated hitting. So runners on first and second. The count is 0-1 to Morleone. Sorry about that little bit of confusion there. Runners on first and second again. Here's the pitch. Swung on, lays high into center field. Going back as a center fielder. He'll make the catch. Rodriguez thinks about tagging up for third. Bernardo says, "Whoa, Nelly." And Rodriguez will go back to second as the ball was not hit deep enough. Norman caught it in shallow center, quickly threw a bomb, and Rodriguez would have been dead to rights had he tried to take off. So 2 outs. That'll bring up DePorto, who has struck out and walked. Walked in the fourth inning and was raced on a double play. So good job there by Rodriguez not to test the arm. So now the left-handed batter DePorto, chance to give the Steers their first lead of the game. The pitch swung on, chopper past the pitcher, slow roller, may have gone off the pitcher, throw over to first, not in time. Maxwell fielded it. The ball may have gone off the pitcher. It'll be an infield hit for DePorto. And here we go, bases loaded. Steers have had trouble this season leaving the bases loaded. They did it 3 times against Brownwood, did it once against Wiley, and now here's Garrett Studeville. He's grounded out twice. One of those resulted in RBI. Put an asterisk at that on this at-bat by Studeville. This is the Steers' chance to take the lead and possibly get themselves into the playoffs. Studeville 0 for 2 tonight. Again, 2 groundouts, batting from the left side. Strong side. Here's the first pitch by Clift. It's low, ball 1. Studeville, by the way, that RBI earlier tonight. RBI number 14, beg your pardon, I was looking at the wrong column. So here we go. Here's the pitch. Did not go. Pitch is taken for a ball. 2-0. Hey, the Steers will take a walk. They'll take a hit by a pitch. They'll take catcher's interference. They won't take MasterCard or Visa, but they'll take anything else that would get that runner Rodriguez home from third. Here's the pitch. Swung on and popped up in the air. It's going down the left field line, and it will clear the fence. And it'll be 2-1. Ball was trying to hang up to let the third baseman or center fielder Norman get over, but it did get out. So it's 2-1. Rodriguez at third. Porto Cordero, the pinch runner, at second. DePorto at first. They've been alternating runner and out. Unfortunately, if they continue that pattern, that means Studeville would get it out. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch, taken right down 4th Street. It's 2-2. And now Clift is 1 strike away from getting out of a jam. Steers have had their trouble, as I told you earlier, this season, leaving the bases loaded, and that has come back to haunt them. As we're in the top of the 6th inning here, here's the pitch. Taken. No, it's not strike 3. I was waiting for the umpire to put his hand up and punch out Studeville, but it's a full count, and that means the runners will be in motion, so a base hit can score 2. Steers, again, have not led it all tonight. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. What's going to happen? Here's your payoff. Well, we were going to say here's your payoff pitch, but time is called. Catcher Moore will go out to talk to his pitcher Clift. We got some drama here, and drama in Brownwood. Snyder leading Brownwood 2-0. They're going to the bottom of the 7th inning. If Snyder can win, Snyder clinches the 2 seed. The Steers would be guaranteed not to be eliminated tonight. The Steers, though, can take care of their own business if they win. Here we go. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch swung on and fouled away. And we'll do it again. There is a famous, for those of you that are Major League Baseball fans, the Cleveland Indians back in the heyday of Jacobs Field, and yes, I know Jacobs Field is now named after an insurance company, but they're not an advertiser, so we're not going to mention them. But they used to have a fan during that 455-game sellout streak that would beat the drums during big situations for the Indians. Right now, he'd be beating the drums loud. So here we go again. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded. The pitch swung on and fouled off the backstop. And we'll do it again. Again, this could be your pivotal point in the game. If the Steers don't score, this could come back to haunt them big time, because the Steers have only one more at bat in regulation after this one, as we, of course, will play 7 innings. We're in the top of the 6th inning, so 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch, swung on, popped up in the air, and the third baseman chasing it's going to try to make a play, and he does not. It'll go into the Sweetwater bullpen. That was Maxwell trying to race over, and Studeville playing it tight, as that's 2 times now that the ball almost stayed in play and would have given Maxwell a chance to record the last out.
Trying to get that final strike against Studeville.
Studeville trying to be a hero. Trying to give the Steers the lead. Rodriguez at third, Portocarrero at second, DePorto at first. Again, the 3-2 pitch swung on and laced into center field. Will it get down? It will not get down. The center fielder Norman makes the play, and the inning is over. Asterisk mark that play as the Steers leave the bases loaded. No runs on 2 hits, no errors. They leave the bases loaded at the end of 5.5. It's still Big Spring 2, Sweetwater 2. Back with more Steer baseball in just a moment here on the X. So we move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Steers miss another golden opportunity to take the lead. They leave the bases loaded. We're tied 2-2. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 for Sweetwater. Sean Morrow, James Clifton, Brandon Howell. Steers left the bases loaded 3 times earlier this year against Brownwood, lost that game. They left the bases loaded once against Wiley, lost that game. And you wonder now if Sweetwater will come right back and score a run, because that's what Murphy's Law would indicate. Here's Morrow, first pitch to the righty. Called a strike. Makes it 0-1. Morrow walked in the first, was at the plate when a walk was called that brought in the first Sweetwater run. He flew out to the left his last time up in the 3rd inning. Franco has been in control for the most part since the first 4 batters of the game. Here's the next pitch. It's high and away to the right-handed batter, 1-1. Again, Snyder and Brownwood. Snyder leads it 2-0. Going to the bottom of the 7th inning. Brownwood's out of the playoffs, and the Steers are hoping Snyder can close the door on the Lions. 1-1 pitch, swung on and chopped foul. Actually, it's line foul into the Steer bullpen down the right field line, makes it 1-2. This game has the earmarkings of extra innings, and I know Chad Pullman back at the station is saying, "Go!" Chad, our studio engineer, pulling a long day today to help us out and make this game possible. 1-2 pitch, swung on, and it's going to be lasered over the roof here at Sportsman's Park. So it'll stay at 1-2. Our next broadcast will be on Monday when Forsan Baseball will host Colorado City to end the regular season. Forsan's already won the district. Special start time 4:15 here on the X. Here's the pitch, low in the dirt. Evens it up at 2-2. A lot of nervous Steer fans right now. A lot of nervous Mustang fans as well. As the Steers have a little more room for error than the Mustangs. Here's a 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and chopped past the diving Morleone at third into left field for a base hit. And Murphy's Law tells you the Mustangs will score a run in this inning, and they started off with a single. That'll bring up James Cliff, the pitcher. He's 0 for 2. He was at the plate in the 1st inning when Franco threw a wild pitch that brought home the 2nd Mustang run. Again, we're in the bottom of the 6th inning, scheduled for 7. Steers don't have to win this game if Snyder beats Brownwood, but you'd think it'd be very difficult for the Steers to turn around and beat the Mustangs next week in a playing game. And here's the first pitch coming. Bunt is laid down perfectly on the first baseline. Franco fields it. One play over to first. In time. Great throw by Franco to get Clift. As he threw over the head of Clift. The sacrifice bunt, though, does its job. As Morrow will go down to second. One out. That'll bring up Brandon Howell, who's 0 for 2. Brownwood scores a run in the 7th inning, but it's not enough. Snyder has defeated Brownwood 2-1. Snyder locks up the 2 seed, which means the Steers cannot be eliminated tonight in the playoffs. The outlook now changes considerably in this one, as the Steers now have 2 chances to beat Sweetwater as the Tigers do their job. But we'll get back to action here. Pitch swung on and laced into left field for a base hit by Howe. Morrow's going to run for head for third. Here's the throw at the plate. It's way over the head. Runner is safe. And as I'm talking about the good news, he scores, but Morrow overruns the bag at second, and he is thrown out. But he does his job. He gets an RBI, and the Mustangs regain the lead at 3-2 as Morrow scores. Well, we give you good news about Snyder and Brownwood, and it's quickly erased by the Mustangs getting a run. And I told you that the Steers, they would find a way to leave the bases loaded and that the Mustangs would score a run. So the Mustangs now lead at 3-2. Cole Maxwell comes up now. He's grounded out twice to second. First pitch swung on and fouled away. It's 0-1. Again, the attention of this game now switches from a win and in, or must win and in, to where realistically this is a 3-game series now where the Steers lead at 1-0. Best of 3 if you want to call it that. Steers need one more win to get in. Sweetwater has to win tonight and beat the Steers in a play-in game. How many times will it take for the Steers to get that win that will put them in? They failed 3 times and they're 3 outs away from failing a 4th time. Here's the pitch, swung on and laced right to the shortstop, who makes the catch, and the inning is over. Borman makes the catch, but the Mustangs get the go-ahead run, 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Last call for the Steers. They trail 3-2. Back with the 7th inning in just a moment here on the X. Last call for Big Spring. They trail at 3-2. Karsten Knutson, Matthew Yanez, and Borman will be the batters. 8-9-1. Steers need a run to keep the game going. 2 to take the lead. Again, Snyder has defeated Brownwood, which means the Steers, even with a loss tonight, they get a 4th and final chance to clinch a playoff spot, as they would rematch Sweetwater next week at a date, time, and place to be determined, probably maybe next Thursday or Friday in San Angelo, is what Barada was telling me in practice earlier. Here's Karsten Knutson, 0 for 2. First pitch is bounced up to the plate. It's 1-0. Adam Franco for the 2nd straight game. A great pitching outing, which it looks like it's going to go for naught, unless the Steers can get that tying run again. They left the bases loaded in the 6th, left a runner on second in the 4th. Next pitch is called for a strike. 1-1. Steers have been struggling all season. When the pitching is on, the offense is off. When the offense is on, the pitching is off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Swung on and laced down the left field line. It's a fair ball. And Knutson's going to have extra bases. He will be on second with a leadoff double. And now the Steers with a chance to manufacture that game-tying run. Here's Matthew Yanez. Yanez has not played in a varsity game before tonight. Matthew Yanez with a chance to introduce himself to the Steer faithful. He's 0 for 2. Base hit could tie it up, or we'll see if Yanez decides to lay down the bunt and let the top of the order try to do the trick. And I would bet that the bunt sign will be on. Again, the Steers trail at 3-2. Let's see if Matthew Yanez, making his first start on varsity, can do the trick. Here's the pitch. A bunt is shown. He pulls it back, and it's called for a strike. 0-1. So Knutson with that double. That is Knutson's 9th double of the season, as Clift again getting ready to wind up. They'll be watching the runner at second as he does represent the tying run. The shift is on, and time is going to be called. No, a balk is going to be called as Clift made a move towards home. The second baseman came off the bag. The shortstop went for second. The umpire said, I don't think so. That's a balk. Each pitcher has balked tonight, and that now means With nobody out, the tying run is at third. Matthew Yanez with a chance to bring home that tying run and keep this game going. And now a fly ball can tie the game up. Just a great game tonight. 0-1 to count to Yanez, swinging a ground ball to short. And a line drive caught by the second baseman. It was a liner, not a ground ball. Bennett has a good job by Knutson to not lean too far off the bag, or else that probably would have been curtains. That is the first out. Here's Brett Borman at the top of the order. He's fouled out twice and doubled and scored a run in between in the third inning. Again, a fly ball ties the game up. Hagen Rodriguez is waiting on deck. They're playing the infield, playing on the grass to try to cut that run from third. First pitch is a strike. It's 0-1.
He's 1 for 3 on the night. He had a double back in the third inning.
Steers again trying to get that tying run in, so now a little lazy fly ball just out of the infielder's reach will tie the game up as the infielders are all trying to cut that run off from home. 0-1 pitch misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. Knutson led off the inning with a double, moved over to third on a balk, and now there's 1 out. Steers are so close to tying the game up they can taste it. Here's the pitch. Taken, that's going to be called a strike. It's 1-2. Steers do not want to strike out now because that would take the fly ball out of play if they get if there's a strikeout. That'd be the second out. Hagen Rodriguez waiting on deck.
Standing back in, behind the count.
1-2 count, 1 out, runner on third. Here's your pitch. It's in the dirt, almost gets away from the catcher, and the catcher, Morrill, does a great job to keep it. Otherwise, Knutson would have been able to jump rope his way home, and it would have been tied at 3, but it's 2-2. A lot of drama here. Again, Snyder has defeated Brownwood, so the Steers cannot be eliminated tonight. Pitch is swung on, late, out of the reach of the shortstop for a base hit. Here comes Karsten Knutson. He scores. Brett Borman, the son of the Big Spring ISD School Board president, gives the Steers a new life. We are tied at 3. Brett Borman, and I know his father Jeff is listening proudly, picks up RBI number 18, and now it is tied at 3, and all of a sudden now the go-ahead run at first. Borman laced it just out of the reach of the shortstop Bennett. Bennett went all in, go for it. If he catches it, he would have doubled off Knutson, and the game would have been over. Instead, it's out of his reach, and the Steers now are tied at 3, so we will see a bottom of the 7th inning. Here's the first pitch. Runner takes off for second. It's outside, and safe is Borman. May have been a wild pitch, but you know what? We're going to give Borman the stolen base. For Brett Borman, that is, well, we don't have the stolen base totals. So now the go-ahead run is 180 feet away, and there's still only 1 out. Rodriguez has singled twice. His last 2 at-bats, 2 for 3. One of those at-bats brought home a run. So it's 3-3, top of the 7th inning. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Rodriguez reaching out, trying to make contact. Cannot do it. And it's 1-1. So Snyder has locked up the 2 seed. They will most likely play Vernon in the first round. Big Spring is so close to taking that 3rd spot. Here's the pitch. It's taken for a ball. 1-1. Again, we are at a bad angle to be able to see the strike zone, at least the up and down portion, the left and right portion, if you want to call it that. We can see up and down, but we can't tell whether it's inside or outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. The pitch is inside. 3-1. Gunnar Kennedy waiting on deck. The Mustangs will send up the 8, 9, and 1 batters, May, Campbell, and Norman in their half of the 7th inning. Gunnar Kennedy said he wanted to be interviewed earlier, may get that chance to do it if he can be a hero. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Borman's at second. Here's the pitch, taken high, ball 4. And runners now on first and second, still only 1 out. Here's Gunnar Kennedy. Well, time is going to be called. Roland Herrera, the manager, is going to come on out and talk to his pitcher. He's going to take his time out. Gunnar Kennedy is 1 for 3, singled way back in the 1st inning. And again, we'll update the situation. Steers cannot be eliminated tonight if they lose because Snyder has defeated Brownwood 2-1. Because of that, the Steers are basically into a best-of-3 situation with Sweetwater, if you want to call it a series, since we talk about that all the time in the playoffs. Big Spring has the 1-0 lead in the series based on that 10-6 win over the Mustangs at Steer Park. So the Steers lead at 1-0 in the series. They need one more win to take the title, to take that last spot. And the conference is over. Do not believe there will be any changes in the lineup. Well, we told you earlier, Gunnar Kennedy told me in pregame he wants to be interviewed. Well, if he's able to get the go-ahead, if he's able to bat home the go-ahead run and the Steers win, I think we will be interviewing him. He's a center fielder again. He singled in the first, grounded into a 4-6-3 double play in the third, struck out in the sixth. Knudsen led off with a double, moved over to third on a balk. 1 out later, Borman had an RBI single. Borman stole second, and Rodriguez is on with a walk. So first and second, still only 1 out. The Mustangs were 2 outs away from winning the game. Instead, they now have to try to pitch out of a jam. Here's the pitch. It's low. Ball 1. Max Papajohn waiting on deck. As we're getting into the heart of the Steer order, Kennedy, the number 3 batter, Papajohn, number 4, Morleone, number 5.
Take advantage of his right here.
And here's the pitch. It's taken for a strike by the right-handed batter, leaving it up at 1-1. Steers hoping to get another run across to try to set up the potential winning inning in the bottom of the 7th inning. Adam Franco, for the most part, is got into a little jam in the 6th inning and allowed what was the go-ahead run. Here's the pitch, and it misses again. 2-1. And the fans of Sweetwater not liking that call. And action in the Mustang bullpen, as they have sent a pitcher to the bullpen. We'll tell you who that is in a moment. 2-1 pitch, swung on and chopped foul behind home plate. It'll make it 2-2. Warming up for the Mustangs is Caleb Hoover. Hoover actually was a pinch runner way back in the first inning. He is in the bullpen warming up. Again, we'll have the post-game show coming up after this game. Hopefully we'll be talking about how the Steers are in the playoffs and how they're going to have 2 weeks to prepare for their first-round opponent, potentially Iowa Park or Graham. Here's the pitch, swung on and chopped foul. It will go just on the roof of the concession stands. The concessionaire on the other side of the field trying to catch it, but it was out of his reach, so we'll stay at 2-2. Borman at second, Rodriguez at first. 1 out, 1 run in. Kennedy has a 2-2 count. Infield is shaded, or outfield shaded to the left. Strike 3 called. Kennedy strikes out for the second straight at bat, and that's the second out of the inning. 4th strikeout by Clift. Here comes Max Papajohn. He's 0 for 2 officially. He reached on catcher's interference in the 6th inning. Struck out and fouled out as well. And boy, how big is that last inning when the Steers left the bases loaded, when Studeville flew out to center, when Norman charged hard, was able to make the play. So Papajohn steps in. Chance for him to be a hero and give the Steers their first lead in a long time, since last Friday's game against Wiley. Here's the pitch. It's low, gets away from the catcher. Good job there by the catcher Morrow to keep it in front of him. Runners cannot move up, so it's 1 ball and no strikes. Go-ahead runner Borman at second, 180 feet away. Morleone waiting on deck. Again, we're in the heart of the Steers lineup. Can the Steers get another clutch hit and give themselves the lead?
Cliff checking on the runners.
Cliff checks the runners. Here's the pitch. Taken for a strike. Evens it up at 1-1. A lot of drama here. A lot of nervous fans from wearing red and wearing black. Sweetwater loses. They're done. Big Spring loses. We'll have a play-in game next week. Steers have had 2 chances to clinch a playoff spot. Have not done it so far. Pitch is way low in front of the home plate. Makes it 2-1.
3-3 our score. We're in the top.
We come up on the 9 o'clock hour here. Again, Chad Coleman, our studio engineer. Much appreciative for Chad taking time out to help us out and make this game possible.
Morleone waiting on deck.
So 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Swung on, laced high to the left center field. It might be. It is over the head of the center fielder, and your Steers have the lead. Gorman scores. Rodriguez right behind him, and the son of our sales manager David Papajohn gives the Steers the lead. lead, and now they're 3 outs away from clinching a playoff spot. Wow! That is incredible. He hit it to the deepest part of the ballpark. The center fielder, Norman, could not get it. And Max Papajohn, he's been injured all season long, but the bat does the trick, and the Steers lead at 5-3. And we're going to have a pitching change. We'll tell you who the new pitcher is. We'll take a 60-second break. Big Spring leads at 5-3. We'll be back with more action in 60 seconds here on the X. So Max Papajohn hits a fly ball just out of the reach of Willie Norman, and your Big Spring Steers lead for the first time tonight 5-3. They're still batting in the 7th inning. New pitcher coming on is the only senior on the Mustang roster, Gabriel Medellin. If you'll give me a moment, we'll go ahead and get him penciled in. Medellin would also probably take the pitching spot for, well, actually I just put Gabriel Medellin on the Big Spring side. He's not the pitcher for the Steers, but nonetheless, the Steers for the first time tonight, they get the lead. Max Papajohn right now stands to be the hero, as now the Steers, again, they're still batting, but they're now 3 outs away from winning the game, sending Sweetwater home. Well, they're already home, but they can send them back to end their season and give the Steers, they would be in the playoffs in the number 3 seed. And James Clift is going to stay in the field. I cannot see where he is at. James Clift is... James Clift is moved over to second. Appreciate the announcer for the Mustangs giving us that. So Clift moves over to second. So Stephen May, I'm guessing, is now out of the game. We'll check on that in a moment, but nonetheless, here's Joseph Morleone. He walked and scored a run in the 2nd, hit by a pitch in the 4th, fly out to center in the 6th. There are 2 outs. And Medellin, again, the only senior on this roster, Medellin is 1-0 on the season as a pitcher. So Morleone now with a chance to try to give the Steers some more insurance. They lead at 5-3. First pitch, breaking ball in the dirt, 1-0. And I'll apologize because I'm going to ask the PA announcer if Stephen May is still in the game. Stephen May comes out, so Medellin will come in, will move into his batting spot. That will be the 8th spot. Again, this is live TV. And by the way, Medellin will now lead off the 7th inning. Here's the pitch, right down the middle. It's 1-1. So Medellin now will move into that number 8 spot, sort of like a double switch. Although usually when you have a double switch in the National League, you would move the pitcher to a spot where he would not be right up to bat. But now the Steers leading at 5-3. Runner still on second. That's Papajohn. Pitch to Morleone. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. And Adam Franco, who again threw that gem last week, that 1-hitter and a loss, he has thrown a 5-hitter tonight. Seems like it's been a 2-hitter. But he now stands to win the game and send Big Spring to the playoffs. First, we still have more work to be done here. 2-2 pitch coming from Medellin is low. Strike 3 call. That did not really look like a strike. But Medellin comes in, gets the first batter. The only batter he faces. The inning is over. But Max Papajohn may have just sent the Steers to the playoffs as he hits a 2-run double and an RBI single by Borman. The Steers lead at 5-3. Last chance for Sweetwater coming up. Can the Steers close out the Mustangs and clinch the last playoff spot? You better stay tuned. We got a great finish coming up here on the X. Last call for the Mustangs. They trail it 5-3, and Stephen May is actually now going to pinch hit. He was pulled out of the game for defensive purposes as part of a double switch. So now he will pinch hit for Medellin, who came in to pitch. Campbell and Norman will also bat. Steers 3 outs away from going to the playoffs for the first time as a 3A school after going 0-8 last year. First pitch is a ball, 1-0. As we come up on the 2-hour mark, the game is not over yet. Steers got 3 hits in that last inning. Toss in a balk. We'll double check the earned runs. Franco's next pitch is low, 2-0. Well, they're going to call it a strike. So it's 1-1. The first run is unearned from that last inning because of a balk. The other two are earned. 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss. It's 1-2. Again, Campbell is waiting on deck. They go back to the order with Willie Norman. Mustangs had the lead. They were 2 outs away from winning and forcing a playing game. Instead, the Steers' bats come alive in the last 2 innings. And it's 5-3. 1-2 pitch. Swung on and laced high in the air. It's playable in shallow right field. Right fielder coming underneath of it. And that is going to be caught by Jared DePorto. 1 up, 1 down. Steers 2 outs away from going to the playoffs. And then we can start talking about the drought of the Steers not winning a playoff game since 2000. They have not gotten out of the first round since 1996. There's still business left to be done here. Sean Campbell is your batter. He's 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for 1 officially. A sacrifice ground out and a strikeout. Here's the first pitch to Campbell. Swung on and a chopper to Rodriguez at second. Over to first. 2 outs. Campbell is out on the ground out 4-3. And the Steers are 1 out away from going to the playoffs after the disaster last year was. The only person standing in that way right now is Willie Norman. Norman is 2 for 3. He singled twice, scored a run, and flew out to right. Again, the Mustangs have to come back or their season is over and the Steers are in. If the Mustangs were to, for some reason, come back, the Steers would get another chance because Brownwood's loss means they will not factor in for a tiebreaker. Brownwood will finish in last place. Here's Franco. First pitch to the left-handed batter. It's low, 1-0. Mustangs trying to get into the playoffs. They actually have to force a third and deciding game, as it turns out now. And Franco has gone all the way. He's ever since that first inning, he's pitched great. 1-0 pitch is high, 2-0. Ryan Linbaugh is waiting on deck, or Linebaugh, I should say. Steers have a total of, they have 8 hits in the ball game, 5 of them in the last 2 innings. 2 balls, no strikes. Franco in the stretch. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped up in the air, but it's going to get out of play down the left field line into the throwing or batting cages, I should say, on the Sweetwater side. So it's 2 balls and a strike. Now the Steers 2 strikes away from ending this game and getting into the playoffs. If they hold it off, we're going to have post-game. We're going to talk to Franco. We're going to talk to Max Papajohn. Try to get Bert Otto on as well. 2-1 pitch. Swung on and laced foul down the left field line again. And the Mustangs are down to their final strike. We've heard that before. The Texas Rangers twice against the Cardinals in the World Series last year were 1 strike away from winning the World Series. Rangers could not hold it, and they lost Game 6 and then lost Game 7.
Up onto the mound. He's ready to steer dugout. Up on the rail now. Yanez behind the plate.
So here we go, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Franco 1 strike away from winning it. Here's your pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and the ball game is over. And after going 0-8 last year in district play, 5 times they were run ruled, the Big Spring Steers come from behind, and they are in the playoffs. As Adam Franco ends it the way you would hope, as he strikes out Norman. 3 up, 3 down. The Big Spring Steers, for the first time as a 3A school, win the game 5-3. Max Papajohn, your hero, give a hero shout to Brett Borman as well. And the Big Spring Steers are going to the playoffs for the first time since 2010. Well, we are going to have post-game coming up in a few moments, as we will get Bert Otto. Hopefully at some point we want to get the players as well. We're going to take a 3-minute break on the network, as we're going to go down to the field, get some of the players, and then we'll get Bert Otto. The final score, Big Spring wins at 5-3. We'll take a 3-minute break on the network. Have some post-game coming up in 3 minutes here on the XKXCS.